I just want to celebrate another game we're winning. I just want to celebrate. Sens win 7-3 over the New Jersey Devils. Welcome to 1985. It's amazing what one game can do. I woke up this morning and it was like a breath of fresh air. The Sens won, and won convincingly. All is right in the world, at least for now. Man, oh man. After the last few weeks, and more specifically the last 4 days, as fans, we really needed this. And as an organization, they really needed it as well. There was the 9-2 pacing to the Sabres. Then they blew a pair of third-period leads and lost in overtime to the Lightning. Then, of course, that video came out Monday night. About the video. All I will say on the matter is it doesn't paint the Sens in a very good light. And that Uber driver, he's a scumbag. I don't think he deserves any attention, so I'm not going to give him any, other than to say he's a scumbag. I know Mike Babcock in his press conference yesterday said that nothing is off the record, but as a reporter, I disagree. I get why he's saying it. He's basically sending a message to his players and protecting himself, because let's face it, not all reporters are moral in this world. But this was a private conversation. There was nothing off the record about it. It's just purely against the law. Don't believe me? Ask Hulk Hogan and Gawker. Now that that's out of the way, the Sens, who already knew about the video and addressed it prior to the game against the Lightning, had some amends to make up with the community, who were reeling both from the video and from Ottawa's poor results of late. With the fans looking for a bounce back, boy did the Sens ever deliver. Sure, they dug themselves an early hole, but it was nice to see them climb out of it. Of course, as always, lineup changes. Interestingly, Mark Borowiecki was a late scratch for the Sens with a minor injury. With Boro out, the Sens elected to go back to the traditional 12-6 lineup. Needing an extra forward, the Sens inserted Jack Rodevald into the lineup for his season debut. The rest of the lineup stayed the same, and Andy started in goal. Early on, it looked like the lineup changes wouldn't have much effect, as the Sens got an early power play and didn't do anything with it. A Thomas Chabot giveaway was the closest any team came to finding the back of the net, as the Devils almost picked up a shorthanded marker. While they didn't manage to score on that shorthanded chance, they did find the back of the net just over 3 minutes in. Nico Hischier skates through the neutral zone with the puck. When he hits the blue line, he drops a pass to Taylor Hall just inside the line. Hall cuts towards the middle of the ice and toe drags by the outstretched stick of Jaros. The reigning NHL MVP then rockets a shot by Anderson to give the Devils an early 1-0 advantage. The goal itself, it's really tough to point any fingers on the play. Hall made a nifty move and a nice shot. Sometimes that's going to happen, and it did on this play. Having said that, not a big gripe, but if somebody had slowed Hischier down in the neutral zone, that would have been nice. They didn't, and the Devils get the early lead. And just over 11 minutes in, the Devils strike again. Kyle Palmieri bangs home a rebound on a Ben Lovejoy point shot, and the Devils' lead is 2-0. The front of the net! Again, another guy standing in front of the net, and another goal against. It's like clockwork, but, to be fair, it's not like the Sens were in terrible position. Andy made the save and kicked out the rebound. Cece was standing right there. The rebound bounced out and hit him in the skate. By the time he figured out where the puck was, Palmieri was banging it in the net. It's a tough break. Cece didn't know where the puck was, and sometimes it's difficult to find the puck in your skates. He didn't find it in time, and it ended up in the back of the net. That said, the Sens are now down 2-0, barely 10 minutes in. Here we go again.
Not so fast.
Am I seeing this right? 45 seconds later, Thomas Chabot blows a point shot by Corey Schneider, and the Sens cut their deficit to 2-1.
Yes!
Big-time goal by a big-time player at a big-time moment. And just like that, the Sens have swung momentum. See how that works? And 53 seconds after that? This is a joke. You're joking, right? Someone pinch me. I have to be dreaming. Dzingel has the puck behind the goal. He leaves it for Duchesne, who spins around the net and in front. He sends a backhand cross-ice feed to Stone. He jams it by the outstretched pad of Schneider. And a minute 38 after Palmieri gave the Devils a 2-0 lead, the Sens have tied the game. Guess who's back? Back again. The Sens are back in this old game. Guess who's back? 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 The Sens are back and the game is tied at 2, heading to period 2. Guess who else is back? The straight playmaker, baby! And much like he was against the Sabres, Colin White is a beneficiary of a real nice Mark Stone pass. Stone sends a pass from the goal line that finds a way through a maze of bodies and onto the stick of White. White quickly jams it into the net, and the Sens have their first lead. A little ditty about Mark and Colin. 2 hockey players growing up in the Sens land. Marky's gonna be the future captain, and Colin is gonna be banging pucks into the back of the net. Oh yeah, life is grand. The Sens have the lead and are rolling along. And just over 7.5 minutes into the second period, Duchesne steps over the blue line and sends a short backhand cross-ice pass to Stone. He takes a couple strides into the middle of the ice, fires a rocket by the glove of Schneider, and the Sens lead is 4-2. What an incredible shot. Obviously, given the way the bottles are attached to the net nowadays, Stone didn't pop the bottle. But if the bottles were still on top of the net, you can be sure it wouldn't have been after that goal. That also spelled the end of Schneider's night, as he was lifted in favor of Keith Kincaid. The Sens did it to someone else for a change! But just because the goalie changed, didn't mean the Sens were just going to roll over. New goalie, same result, as Johnny on the spot bangs home his second of the night. After an easy tap-in on his first goal, Colin White shows that he's not afraid to go to the net, and gets rewarded again as he bangs home a Matt Duchesne rebound to put the Sens in front, 5-2. Don't look now, but Colin White is really starting to turn it on. 2 goals, going hard to the net, and playing with more confidence and looking more comfortable. Just what we need to see, and just what I like to see. With a 5-2 lead heading to the third, the nerves kicked in. Please, for the love of all things hockey, please, please, please hold on to this lead. Hold on to? Let's run away with. Matt Duchesne steals the puck, back-checking hard. Forecheck, back-check, paycheck, boys! Ryan Dzingel picks up the loose puck and leads an odd-man rush with a hard charging and now forechecking Matt Duchesne. Dzingel winds up for the shot, and right as he's about to release, gets slashed, which actually might have helped the Sens forward, as it seemed to fool Kincaid, going between his legs and giving the Sens a 6-2 advantage. It truly is happy days. With a few minutes remaining, the Devils cut into the Sens lead as Coleman's point shot gets through a screen by Andy, and the Sens lead is 6-3. Alright, there was actually a screen on this play because a Sens defenseman was actually engaging a forward. If that's going to happen, I can live with that. That's a much better option than just sitting there and letting them have free reign over the front of the net. The Sens are still up by 3. All is still fine. Wait a minute. No, not is all fine. Craig, what are you doing? No, seriously, Andy, what are you doing and where are you going? No, Mike McKenna, stay on the bench. Oh my gosh, why are you getting dressed? What is happening? Anderson leaves with an injury and we should all start freaking out now. McKenna makes all 6 saves he faces, Pajärvi hits the empty net, and the Sens win 7-3. Let's just take a minute to enjoy this one. As Sens fans, we've earned it. Now, our enjoyment unfortunately has to end rather quickly. Like I mentioned, Andy left with injury, and so did Bobby Ryan. After the game, Guy Boucher said both should be fine and both were removed for precautionary reasons. I hope he's right, and I hope both are able to make a quick return. And this game, it was a real big-time effort from the boys. They started slow, but they managed to get it together. The slow start was disappointing, given that Ottawa should have been very fired up for the start of this game, and the Devils came in having played last night. So yes, the Sens should have picked up the win as the more rested team, but should and actually doing it are 2 totally different things. The Sens actually took care of business in this game, and it was awesome to see. There were so many good things in this game as well. 1 for 4 on the power play, that's a solid enough night. 2 for 2 on the penalty kill, that's terrific for a bunch that were killing just over 50% over their last 7 games. They managed to outshoot their opponent for just the 4th time all season, and for the first time all season reached the 40 shot mark, as they outshot the Devils 42-39. The big guns, they were our big guns as well. Mark Stone had 2 goals, 3 assists. Matt Duchesne chipped in with 3 assists. Thomas Chabot had a goal and 2 assists. Colin White scored twice. And Ryan Dzingel added 1 and 1. Just what the doctor ordered. Now, the good news. The Sens managed momentum perfectly in this hockey game. Give up the early goal? No bother, we'll hang around for a while. Give up another goal? Geez, let's fix that real quick. Bang! Just like that, momentum snuffed out. Bang, less than a minute later, and momentum is firmly on their side. Bang, bang, bang in the second to pull away. Bang in the third to make sure there'd be no comeback. And bang again late to put the game away. We have had many conversations this year about momentum. I said it once, I'll say it again. They handled momentum perfectly in this hockey game. And of course, so they should have. The 2-0 hole, if any team is going to know how to dig themselves out of a 2-0 hole, it should be this one. They've seen enough teams do it to them so far this season. Scoring a goal right after they gave one up, that's another thing this team should be well versed at, as again, that's another thing they've had happen to them a number of times this season. The same can be said for scoring back-to-back goals in short order. Momentum was all theirs, and they controlled it all night long. About the only thing they could have done better to really seize momentum would have been scoring a goal in the first or last minute of a period. Otherwise, it was perfect. Now, the bad news. Yes, they were a lot better in this game, and yes, they handled momentum. But they still dug themselves an early hole, they still gave up way too many shots, and they still gave up way too many high-quality scoring chances. Andy can only do so much, and he now appears to be nursing some kind of an injury. I know this team is young, and I know they will start figuring it out, but as a fan, it needs to start happening much quicker. We're 15 games into the season, and they're still giving up the same number of shots and the same number of scoring chances they did in game number 1. There has to be some kind of progression, and we need to start seeing that. And hopefully, we start seeing that on Thursday, when the Sens return to the ice for a home date with the Vegas Golden Knights. While the Sens come into the contest fresh off a win, the Knights come in fresh off a loss, having lost in Toronto 3-1 last night. The Knights come into the contest with the worst record and a significantly less prolific offense. But in their only meeting of the season a week and a half ago in Vegas, it was the Golden Knights who escaped with a 4-3 overtime win thanks to a Jonathan Marchessault penalty shot winner in overtime. The Sens led 2-0 and 3-2 in that game before giving away both leads and then losing in overtime. The Knights outshot the Sens 36-15 over the final 2 periods plus overtime as well. Making sure that doesn't happen again will go a long way in the team earning a win. See ya Thursday night.